welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Sparkling Tuna Cup number 96. Jesus, it's been 96 weeks of Tuna Cup. It's crazy. We're jumping into our second series of the broadcast, so we're jumping into a... Oh my god. We're jumping into a random versus Protoss matchup. This morning in the right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the red Terran player. I'll fix up his name, but he's an animal. He's his name may be indicative of what's about to happen as well. We have the Terran player, but competing as random, rolling as Terran from the land of the Netherlands. It is uThermal, the cheese maniac. Not like this. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the blue Protoss. It is KotJamie. I'll fix up their names. One moment. Bam, beautiful. Here we go. We are settling into our best of 3. And again, uThermal, I was asking, of course, uThermal, he has been living in Mexico for the past couple of years, but currently he is back in Europa. He's back in the Netherlands, I believe, visiting family, of course, and spending some time with loved ones over in Europe. So he's not going full degen. He's not staying up until like 5 a.m. to compete, thankfully. And he is, of course, picking random. Now, he does typically compete as Terran. Again, at Home Star Cup, he also competed as Terran as well. But here for the first round, he's going to be having fun with random. Does roll his main race, I will say that. So he's going to have the edge coming into this. But we'll see if Kot can keep up. For now, double gas. Double gas opener out of uThermal. Double gas going into a faster factory. And with this is going for a more tech-heavy start. Now, this can lead into a... Oh, before I get ahead of myself, if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as you get your gamma going. Now, as we get into a double gas opener, this technically can lead into a one base all-in. We can go factory into a starport into a one base setup, or of course something more standard as we pull out of gas is factory into CC on the low ground. The only reason why I bring up one base all-in as we're going for the tech lab early on, Jesus, is because uThermal, he does like to have some fun. He does like to meme at times. He can play standard, don't get me wrong, 100%, but especially in the early rounds of a tournament, he is tempted to go for something more unusual. For now, CC on the low ground. Insanely fast tech lab here from uThermal, going for the add-on swap into an early Cyclone. Okay. So Reaper into tech lab, into add-on swap into early Cyclone out of uThermal. Is going to be opening up. With this, he will gain map control early on. The Stalker does move out, but the Cyclone is designed to punish the Stalker. As Stalker will attempt to delay the CC, SCV does pull away. More Stalker is going to be rallying in. Cyclone is halfway done. The SCV is going to be caught out. Not bad. SCV does fall, and back at home, it's going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Kot. So uThermal does poke in, does confirm the tech. Let's get eyes on the tech of choice. Probe's going to be going down. Cyclone has arrived, and the CC is on the way. Stalkers did race back home. Behind this, going for the starport follow-up. Investing into a second Cyclone. No tank production yet here out of uThermal. Likewise, we're not really set up for an add-on swap into Cloak Banshee. Never mind. Yo, oh my god. Okay, I assumed that we were not going to be swapping here with the factory. We still are not. We're just going to be making the tech lab itself on the starport. With this, we can open up, or we can follow this up with Banshee play. We could even go into Raven for Raven Harass as well, something a little bit more tame. But Banshee play has been a little bit more trendy as of late in TvP. Show us what you got. There it is. Banshees are on the way. And again, it's going to be up to our Protoss player here to scout to confirm. Behind this, throwing down a massive amount of gateways, getting up to a 4-gate setup. Okay, so 4-gate Blink Stalker out of Kot. Very aggressive, very dedicated. Robo also going to be on the way. And that should be for the War Prism to move out across the map. Now, going into a gateway-heavy composition like this can punish a player that is delaying and skipping tank production. Without tanks, it can be very difficult to defend your main base and your natural. Thankfully for uThermal, tanks are on the way, but remember, he did invest into a second Cyclone, which did delay tank production even further. Oh, as the first Cyclone does go down, and uThermal, he's not fully aware. Not yet. Doesn't know how many gateways there are. Tanks are setting up, but again, we do need some support for the tank as well. No bunker. Stalkers are amassing. More Stalkers going to be reinforcing. Doesn't go for the Prism yet. Going for the Observer first. Let's poke in. At this point, he cannot go for the dive. Bunker is halfway done. The Bio Army's in position. Banshees are amassing as well. And KotJamie has to make a choice. No Prism, going for another Observer, so he's expanding. Okay, he's expanding. This is an interesting decision here from our Protoss player. He committed quite hard here into 4 gateways, but he's not going for the Prism. Looks like he is expanding. He's not committing as hard as he otherwise could. So it's a little bit more middle of the road here from KotJamie. But this does mean that he has a late third. So his third base is late, and he's not really achieving much for it. He can threaten the bases, but again, he's not as dedicated as he otherwise could have been. As he's making his way into the main, he can blink behind the mineral line. Oh. Going for the gases. Tank does reposition. I guess an SCV. Oh, it does dive on the tank, but it's taking a lot of hits to the face. Yeah, Stalkers are going down, and he's forced to recall, bleeding out another Stalker. Yeah, 2-3 more Stalkers falling. uThermal does defend, and now he can counterattack. Here come the Banshees. They are spotted by the Observer, true. Observer does spot them. And we do see KotJamie react. He's racing back home. Does go for the warp in. And remember, there's no cloak. There's no cloak for these Banshees. Stalkers, they will zone up. Oh, catching up one of the Banshees. Nice catch. Banshee does go down. But uThermal, he breaks out. And what's scary here is that, unfortunately, the Observer's covering the main base. The Observer does not see the natural. Does not see the move out. Yeah, KotJamie's in the dark. Doesn't see the army coming his way. There's a scan. There are Stalkers in position. Charge is still in production. No charge, no splash damage. Just a couple of Stalkers. Tanks do siege. Oof. Tank boy's going up. Thermal pushing forward. KotJamie double expanding. Ay, ay, ay. That's a bold move here by KotJamie. Taking his forward. At the same time trying to commit in. Does focus on the tank, and the tank will not fall. Yeah, barely does survive. And here we all got geez. The boys have been pulled. Let's go. uThermal does pull the boys. He's going for the kill. He smells blood in the water. Again, there's no splash damage. He stims in, and there's not much to stop him. There's no shield batteries. Again, KotJamie rushed into a 4th base. He was crazy. Delayed his tech for that. And he should lose everything here. The tank does survive. The 3rd base is being broken. KotJamie still has somewhat of a standing army, but he just cannot push in. He cannot engage within tank range. He's forced further back. Oh, does go for the blink. Nice pickup. Nice pickup, but it's going to cost him everything. Okay. Like, it's a nice pickup. Unfortunately, there's not really much left over. As uThermal is moving in. Zealous will take the Mind Shields to the face. We have an Immortal standing. We have a shield battery. But uThermal, he stims and he wins. He's heavily overstimmed, but he has too much. GG gets called. The boys are being pulled, and uThermal, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. He will take a lead in the series. Again, KotJamie did have some nice moments in this game, is what I will say, when it came to counterattacking across the map, you know, getting into the main base. Unfortunately, didn't really get much damage done with his harassment. He was able to delay the CC early on, but unfortunately, he did miss the move out. He missed the main army. He reacted quite nicely against the Banshees. Remember, the Banshees didn't really do much damage, right? They got deflected in the main, which was great, but to do so, he actually pulled back all of his Stalkers, so he didn't have anything in position to spot the move out. He didn't have anything to slow it down, to get eyes on the push, and as a result, he didn't know to get ready for something like that. That's why he was expanding. That's why he was getting a 4th base in the face of a 2-base all-in. So unfortunately, he just was lacking that vision, was lacking that scouting, and had no idea whether it was his army being in position or the Observer. Remember, the Observer was in the main to give him vision to blink into the main base initially, but after that had transpired, after he was forced out and forced to recall, the Observer never repositioned, right? He never repositioned to rotate down to the entrance to the natural, so he didn't see much of anything. GG. GG, well played. But of course, everything was quite intense. Everything was happening at once, and it's a lot to take in. And we'll see if KotJamie can recover. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can try to make a series out of this. The pressure is on KotJamie. go. So guys, we are getting ready for game number 2. Here we go. Oh, sorry, just catching up with the chat. Just catching up. I mean, well, big shout out to Grimy UK in the chat. Gah, baby, yeah. Thank you so much for the raid. Oh my god, of the raid of 60. Hope you had a good stream. Hope you had a good session. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Welcome to the Sparkling Tuna Cup. I see someone asking in the chat, is this from a replay? This is a live event. Again, typically if there's going to be a replay cast, we do actually post replay in the stream title. So it's usually there for all to see. But this is a live event. But thank you so much. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great time. So, here we go. So here we go. We're getting into our next game. Getting into game number 2. Gonna be on Tokamak. I had min time, yes. Do apologize. After this, uThermal versus Mixu. Mixu is waiting for the winner of this series. And also, before I forget, a big shout out to Shiva Blaster in the chat. God. Thank you so much for subscribing for 42 months. That's a long time. 42 months. That's a lot of support. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Here we go. As we are getting into our next matchup here, and spawning the right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the red Terran player himself, in the land of the Netherlands, leading the series 1-0. It is uThermal. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss wave, the blue Protoss himself. It is KotJamie. We go. As we're getting into our next game, as we're getting into our series here, and again, KotJamie had some nice moments in the last game, but unfortunately, again, he just had a really hard time keeping an eye on what uThermal was up to. On the move outs, on the all in, but now we're settling into our next game. Here we go. And of course, welcome one and all to Tokamak. Tokamak is going to be one of the larger maps in the map pool. Larger map, longer rush distance from my ground, more defensive bases as well. I would say that if uThermal were to go for a 2-base all-in, it would be a little bit more difficult to achieve and a little bit more difficult to really get underway. So we'll see if he does adjust his approach. As for now, going for a Racks into Factory off of the single gas geyser. Interesting. With this, he can go into earlier Hellion production. Does go for the CC on the low ground. As uThermal does mix up his opener. Again, as a reminder, last game we saw the earlier second gas geyser, which led into earlier Cyclone production. Here, with less gas to work with, we're going for the reactor, not the tech lab. So reactor follow-up from uThermal. This is uThermal's first SEC, right? Yes, yes. If I'm not mistaken, I believe his first Tuna Cup. Ah. As here comes the add-on swap. Getting into that reactor Hellion. Behind this is going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Kot. Once again, opening up Twilight Council. Stalker does move out across the map, but just like last game, is here to attempt to delay the CC. And will be able to. There we go, does force a recall. uThermal will defend, can go back to building up, go back to producing. Now from here, as we commit into reacted Hellion, it does seem like we can go into drop play here with the Medivac. We can go for either a Hellion drop or even a combination of Hellion and Mine drop as well. Meanwhile, back at home, it is going to be a charge base opener, not Blink. Okay, Kot is mixing things up here. Is going for something far more different, far more sinister. Rushing into early charge. Hellions do move out. So far, Kot, he's walled up here at the natural. Key is secure. uThermal does move out. It does move out with his Mine drop. Now with this, he can either go for the Mine drop into the bases here and then go for a dive into the natural, or he can try to Mine drop the natural base, try to break open that front door, and then rush in. And it looks like he's going for it. Yeah, he's going for the natural. Mine drop is coming in. We'll see how quickly Kot does respond. No reaction, no response to Mine shots. The Mine shots go off. They break through the front door. A bit of friendly fire, but Hellions, they bust into middle line. Probe's going to be going down. Probes, they do line up. And with that, everything is getting roasted. That's going to be the entire middle line going down. Ay, ay, ay. 11 probe kills, 12 probe kills falling. Widow Mines, they did survive as well. Can't even go for High Templar. It just rushes in, just rushes past. Storm, it's stormed. We're rushing into 2-base Storm. Crazy build here out of Kot, but this is a critical damage. Again, unfortunately, he just did not react in time. 22 workers do go down. Widow Mines, they waddle away. They set up once again. And uThermal's looking quite comfortable. He's looking quite comfortable here. If we were going for an earlier charge timing, I mean, now we can't afford it. Now we're down to 24 workers, barely an economy. Storm is done, that is true, but what can we do with Storm? Also, hopefully we don't run into the Widow Mines. As uThermal does contain his opponents. Blink is not done, but does get eyes on the initial mine. Can go for hallucination. And back at home, we're just building up towards Stim, +1. Now would actually be a really good moment for uThermal to pull the boys and to go for a 2-base all-in, with his Stim timing, of course. But the reasoning for this is that uThermal knows that his opponent's crippled, right? Kot, he is crippled, he's lost so many workers, he cannot afford to actually produce an army. Right now, Kot is hoping that uThermal's passive, that uThermal, he's more defensive, that he gives him time to recover. And we'll see what uThermal, or how he approaches this. Initial drop is moving out. We have 4 High Templar so far. 5 High Templar even, that's a lot of Templar. Going for the drop play. Hallucination does get eyes on one of the drops. The other does skirt around the edge on the right-hand side. So he does unload. Going for the pylon. You see uThermal coming in from 3 angles. He's got a drop on the left, drop on the right, and we have a push in the middle. Just with the Marines, just to harass. He's not really committing with anything. He's keeping his main army back at home. He was, until now. Dust him in. Tanks one of the storms. Takes down One Eye Templar. Nice pickup. Nice snipe by uThermal. Yeah, Sims in, takes down the sentry. Going for the third base. Main army's pushing forward. And there's barely an army. There's barely an army here. There's Storm, but there's no support. There's barely any Zealots. Barely any charge lots. As more storms are coming in, tanks have arrived. They're getting within range of the Nexus. And it's going to be a tough hold here for Kot. Again, storms on the tanks. They tickle the tanks. They do what they can, but GG gets called. Well played. And uThermal, he will take the series 2-0. He'll advance on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. uThermal, he will claim the series. He will advance on. Again, a strong showing here from uThermal. Some cheeky builds at times, especially in game number 1, of course. Kot, again, he just had a bit of a harder time at keeping up. A bit of a time in keeping up with the initial move outs. Even here in game number 2 as well, had a bit of a later reaction when it comes to the initial drop play. And with that, GG well played.